But football without fans, you play a football match without fans, it can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch, it becomes nothing.
And to Johnson. Johnson. And a goal by Johnson. Larson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! Nakamura! He has done it! Isn't that just typical?
The game is over. The Rebels have won. Champions, that's who we are.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast. It's myself and James in the house today, and we've just witnessed Celtic beat Livingston 3-0 away from home.
I'm here today, Gav.
Oh, what did I say?
It's myself and James. That prick.
Right. Hi, Paddy. Sorry.
Hi, mate.
Right, aye. So we beat Livy 3-0 away from home. It's one of the most turgid grounds to go to, and happy days. We've got 3 goals, 3 points. Paddy, take it away. What was your thoughts?
Well, obviously the first thought that popped into my head when I saw the team lineup was I was a bit angry, to be honest with you, because I expected Livingston to line up kind of compact and team-handed in defence, and I'm thinking, right, we're going to be playing Kyogo 5'7" up against 2 or 3 big absolute monsters, and however many midfielders for Livingston's dropping back and sitting in tight. So I had a wee bit of a rant about that with you guys before the game, and of course, his fate was to prove me wrong and bitch slap me right in the face. Kyogo pops up with the first goal. So happy days, starting out. Here we go.
Totally. James, I think maybe with the going to the Tony Macaroni against like the kind of the giants in Scottish football, we're talking about height wise, not actually kind of football stature. Has Ange kind of shown that there's more than one way to skin a cat in terms of playing Livingston? Everybody thought that Jack and Marcus, we had to go for the physicality, but we kept the ball in the ground for most of it. We played Kyogo, and Kyogo was the first on the score sheet. So you're quite impressed with Ange sticking by his guns today?
I was the same as Paddy when I seen the team. Jackie Marcus I thought was going to be first name in his team sheet. Didn't think Aaron Moy would have played. Didn't think this was the type of game for him, but obviously went on to prove his wrong. And as I said on here in Wednesday night, going up to Almondvale, it's just you take a scrappy 1-0, just get 3 points and up the road. But I think was as comfortable can be the day. Never really looked under any pressure at all.
I've got to agree with you. I thought there's a bit of a fear amongst us Celtic fans against Livingston, and that's because of past performances and what they can impose on us. I felt that they were a wee bit toothless today. The big guy up front, Nubly, he was a right handful. At the start of the game, I was wary of what he could do because he managed to make Cameron Carter-Vickers give away a needless yellow card early in the game. And I saw him playing against him. I saw him playing against Jens. And I was thinking what kind of impression he could make today. But I thought overall we actually got off lightly. But let's give Celtic the credit. Paddy, going into the game, Livy were 8th in the league. They'd had 4 wins, 1 draw and 5 defeats and a -4 goal difference. Martindale has only lost 2 of the last 6 meetings with Celtic. Counting that as 3 out of the last 7 now. But going into the game with the lineup, apart from Kyogo, who we've mentioned, were you happy with how we started? I see that Juranovic came out and Ralston came in to give us a physicality at the back. Taylor, of course, has been excellent. There's no need to kind of drop him. And as James said, Moy again continued in the number 10 position, and Haksabanovic and Forrest on the wings with Kyogo in the middle. So were you, apart from Kyogo, who you've kind of mentioned, were you fair enough? Were you happy with the lineup?
But it was pretty much what I thought would happen. Probably other than the inclusion of James Forrest, I thought he would have probably started a badder. But happy enough for the squad. Again, I wasn't happy with Kyogo starting for reasons that I've already said. And it seemed even a bit more stranger when I saw Ralston in the lineup, because Ralston's clearly been picked for his physicality, his height, his passion, his aggression, his energy. But one of Ralston's biggest weapons in a Celtic shirt is driving forward and putting in a cross. So if he's starting with Kyogo, again, 5'7", whatever, blah blah blah, up against as it transpired at the start, up against 3 Livingston centre backs at least, I'm thinking, right, again, that's Ralston going to be firing blanks basically, because every single cross that he puts in is going to be swept up, mopped up by a Livingston player. So you take that out of the equation. But the way it worked too, like if you look at Kyogo's first goal, the ball and the movement actually comes for Ralston. So Ralston gets the ball, he brings himself inverted inside with the ball, he passes it through to Taylor, who again, he's in the middle of the park, but just kind of offset a wee bit, just to the left, passes into Taylor. Taylor turns around, takes a touch, looks up, sees a movement for Kyogo, slips him through, maybe about 20-25 yards. Absolutely brilliant ball. And Kyogo pushes forward, kind of runs his defender a wee bit. Defender doesn't do anything to try and kind of tackle Kyogo or put him off. Nothing. Kyogo gets the time. And other than that, mate, it puts away an absolute fucking belter of a left foot shot by the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper probably could have done a bit more, but that still doesn't take away from the finish and the goal and the timing as well, because it's always good to get an early goal up there. So it was a great start.
Yeah, it was. It was an early goal in the first half and an early goal in the second half. That's exactly what you want. If you were to write a script, that's how you would write it. Playing that the Spaghetti had. That particular goal for Kyogo, kind of peeling off his marker, and then he collects it, takes 1-2 touch, and then fires it in off the post at the keeper's near corner. A fantastic goal. James, that's kind of like typical of Kyogo's movement. There's been a lot of chat about him having a bit of a crisis of confidence. Do you think that there's much kind of credit to that, or is that being based purely on the European game? So domestically, do you think he still suffers from a bit of confidence, or do you think he's back to Kyogo?
I think domestically it is definitely affecting him. I mean, he's still banging the goals in, obviously, but his overall performances, I don't think he's anywhere near the heights that he hit last season. But as I say, obviously, still scoring the goals. But even the day, obviously, your striker scores a goal, you can't really complain. But overall, I thought it was a wee bit quiet today. Again, but as I say, striker scores goals, that's what he's there today, so can't really grumble.
There's a few amount of comments for the guys here about Greg Taylor. So I'm going to just say it, and I'm going to give the credit to Woodsy, actually. He said it to me during the game. Now, I know that you don't give out Player of the Year Player of the Year awards in October, but if we were to do that, would Greg Taylor get your award, Paddy?
What was the award?
If you were to give out a Player of the Year award so far in October.
Oh, yes, 100%. Right now, Greg Taylor would be giving a speech. I don't know, mate. I just had a picture in my mind, that wee guy with the Oscar, like, you know, but no, listen, he's been absolutely fantastic. It's not just been this season as well. It was probably including the tail end of last season. I know he really started to grow into the role. Again, he's totally put a lot of people kind of shut them up, myself included. But no, again, today he plays his 100th game for Celtic. He starts the game off with an assist. I say put through Kyogo, so he gets the assist, and then he pops up with a goal. You know, so he's scored the second goal for Celtic now. So he's showing how kind of integral he is to the team. Obviously, Callum McGregor's out. We've heard from Postecoglou kind of about the behind the scenes stuff, and he does say that Greg Taylor is probably one of the biggest influences in the dressing room, and you can kind of see that in the park starting to transpire now. And you start to see that kind of a cohesion between all the players, and you see, and I'm pretty sure it was Greg Taylor that was actually giving the team talk, possibly against Shakhtar. I know Carter Vickers has been the allocated captain wearing the handband and that, but if you look at the huddle before kickoff, you actually see Greg Taylor. He's the one that's shouting and bawling. Like, it almost looks as if it's Scott Brown or Callum McGregor.
It sounds like more like Jimmy Bullard doing that after that goal celebration. Do you remember? And Greg Taylor, ironically, a lot of people thought he might be okay domestically, but he wouldn't be able to make that step up for Europe. But James, as we've just seen for the Champions League, quite a disappointing campaign so far, still with one game to go. Greg Taylor has definitely stood up in the Champions League games.
I definitely Wednesday night as well, Tuesday night even, Oli went to highlight that even further. I think across the board, the team was pretty poor. Greg Taylor, as I said again on Wednesday night, Greg Taylor was the only one that I think comes out with kind of pass marks maybe a bit harsh, but he was definitely man of the match. And as Paddy says, like, he's proved me wrong as well. This time last year, I just didn't get what he brought to the team. I didn't think he was quick, he wasn't good in the tackle, wasn't scoring, assisting, but he's doing everything now. And definitely probably head and shoulders player of the season so far, which, to be fair, it's probably a shame because Bernabei as well, when he's come in, he's looked really good, but I don't think you can drop Greg Taylor now with the form that he's in. So I don't know what you do with Bernabei. Do you maybe push him on one and see how he can do as a winger playing in front of Greg Taylor?
We need to keep him hungry, and the only way to do that is maybe give him these kind of appearances every now and again and bringing him on, as Ange does after the hour mark. But Greg Taylor, especially for these tough away games, I wouldn't make that substitution. But he's getting enough appearances. We have enough games, albeit, unfortunately, we're out of Europe now. So that is a good point. How do you kind of keep him hungry? Do you give him those appearances, those cameo appearances, or play him at left wing? Certainly, we've got a lot of wingers anyway, with Jota, Haksabanovic and Maida, who both occupy, or all three of them, they occupy that front left forward position. Paddy, Aaron Moy, another player who's been criticised on occasions. Personally, one thing I will say, there was an interview with a couple of the Celtic players, and they were talking about who gets the award for this, who gets the award for that, best dressed, best banter, funniest guy. And one of the ones was who's got the best touch, the best control. And both of them said right away, Aaron Moy. I think that kind of close control on a shitty pitch like it is today. In fact, tell us that joke for Frankie Boyle. What did Frankie Boyle say about the pitch today?
Oh, that's right. I sent you that before the game. During the game, Frankie Boyle put a tweet up and says that the Livingston pitch is like one of the surface of a pool table that you can see in one of the roughest pubs in Glasgow.
Aye. Well, if you consider that metaphor, I think Aaron Moy's close control is very, very important. Although he might not be the fastest, he might not be the best player for every single game, but for that type of environment, I thought he played pretty well. What do you reckon?
Listen, I mean, I know people they doubt him and they don't like him, which is of course it's everybody's opinions. I know James is the last time you were on, mate, you had a bit of rant about him. I don't think he's the greatest player that we've ever seen. I don't think he's the best player in the team, but I like him. I like what he brings to the team, and I know a lot of people say that that's basically just the basics. Like, he's making the passes that you would expect a player to pass. But see, if that's the case, then he should be getting praise for doing his job right, kind of thing. But no, I agree with you. His touch and close control is definitely one of the things that I think he's best at. But in terms of like with Callum McGregor being out again, Moy's one of these guys with experience in the squad. He's stepping up all the time. He's leading by example. He's getting stuck in. He's everywhere on the park that he needs to be, and he's trying to drive the team forward. And I know a lot of the criticism aimed at him is that he's quite slow. And what? Neil Lennon was one of the fucking slowest players you've ever seen on the park. As long as he's performing on this team, which he is, that's good enough for me. He's probably going to end up being one of the kind of guys where not an unsung hero, but he doesn't get any of the credit that he deserves because he just does. He does the things that's no fancy. He gets the team ticking. He does everything that he needs to do, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. The first half, there was not many flashpoints in it. I think, apart from the goal itself for Kyogo, the most entertaining thing was Aaron Moy whenever he clocked Willie Collum and sent him over, man.
Well, there you go. That's a good enough reason.
Aye. So it gets pass marks from me, but I agree with James that I think he's a useful squad player. Yes. He's not useless, but I wouldn't start him in every single game. And there was actually a big chance for him in the 32nd minute. The ball kind of fell kindly for him where it came down in a half volley. I think he went with a left-footed drive, and he kind of dragged it a wee bit. It went about a yard or so past the post. That was a chance. Another chance was James Forrest when he cut in from the right-hand side onto his left foot. He shot at the near post, but it might have been, in hindsight, better for him to go to the far post. James, what was your overall kind of thoughts on the first half itself? Apart from the early goal, do you think we kind of grew into it?
It was honestly, even the full 90 minutes, I just thought we were comfortable. I don't think we were ever really under any pressure, or certainly any sustained pressure. It was, as I say, going up there, it was pretty straightforward as it can be. Just to touch on Aaron Moy, I slated him during the week. I actually thought he was all right today. I thought he liked to play really well, more so in the first half. I thought he liked to play really well, and as you say, ended it puts Willie Colomoni's arse will get pass marks for me anyway. But no, I thought the first half wasn't much of a game, to be honest. It was really, really comfortable. We done what we had today and took the 3 points in the end. That was the main thing.
Mm-hmm. There was a comment
Gav, sorry for jumping in, mate. Just a question I want to pose to yourselves and anybody in the comments. Now, I know, like a lot of folk, as I say, I've got different opinions on Aaron Moy. What is the difference between Aaron Moy and David Turnbull, for an example? Like, what does that? Well, fucking hair, mate. Turnbull's kind of pushing that fucking. You know what I mean? No, I don't. A lot of people will say that David Turnbull's a good player, and I see Moy doing more in a Celtic jersey than Turnbull does.
Sorry, James, you want to answer that one?
I think Turnbull needs games, really, didn't he?
No,
that's it. he's not in the team, and he's kind of in and out, and like not so much under Ange, but certainly Lennon. Obviously, you're kind of setting the bar really low there, but there's definitely a player there, and I think he's got room to improve, whereas Moy doesn't have that room to improve. But see at the same time though, I would rather see. I don't think it's a direct kind of between Moy and Turnbull. We've got that Abelgard there, and I know that's a bit more defensive, but see if you put him in there, that lets Hatate and O'Reilly play their kind of more natural game going forward and things like that. Like obviously, like the way that Callum McGregor does. I just don't think. Well, obviously it worked today, but I don't think Moy or Turnbull really gives us a good balance. I think I'd personally put Abelgard in there and then just say to O'Reilly and Hatate, go and play your own game.
Abelgard, I think I'm trying to get that pronunciation right. Abelgard.
Abelgard.
I still don't know enough about the guy, but he's certainly putting in the hours in training anyway. So I guess sooner or later he's going to get a start, and we can see exactly what he's made of. He's got the height, and maybe for these away games he'd be a kind of a regular for that type of physicality that we come up against. But going into half-time, as we said, there wasn't much kind of flashpoints, and the possession kind of panned out as we expected. We were about 76% possession at that point. Going into half-time, we get another early goal, and it's Greg Taylor, who we're talking about earlier on, 53rd minute, and it's a shot down the middle from about 25 yards out, perhaps. It went through a sea of bodies. The keeper was kind of blindsided, and it actually went through his legs rather comically. And the guy just loves scoring. Like the grin in his face was just a replica of him scoring against Hearts. He absolutely loves it. Paddy, Greg Taylor, we've already spoken about him so far, but he's adding goals to his game now, and that was not a feature of his performances previously. So things are just getting better and better for the boy.
Mate, I know this is probably totally fucking way off the tangent, but see when you see Greg Taylor celebrating, I know he done it with his last goal. He's only scored 2 goals, so obviously the last goal of the day. He runs away like, see that. I don't know if you can remember Rocky 3, see the bit where he beats Apollo Creed and the rest. He's like fucking, mate, that's what it makes me. But terrific wee player, mate. His work rate is phenomenal. It's great to see him adding goals into the game. And leading the park and putting everybody to shame.
Here, James, do you think the Spaghetti Had is our toughest away ground? I guess if you want to take off your green tinted specs, you would always go for Mordor. But if you were to exclude that from the question, do you think it is always Livingston?
I always feel like Easter Road, obviously out with Ibrox, Easter Road and Almondvale, I always feels kind of difficult games. You always get a hard game there, but hopefully that's us. I mean, Livingston aren't a great team, but you just know what you're going to have to face, and obviously it's a shite pitch and stuff like that. But hopefully that's us turned the corner now, and we can all get that out of heat now. Just go and play our stuff, and hopefully have many more results like today.
Yeah, Paddy, would you agree with that? Another one is Hearts. I hate playing Hearts, but I love beating them. That's a bit of an oxymoron there, but I love beating them, but I just don't relish the prospect of playing them.
I see what you mean, but like you look at stadiums and pitches, but Tynecastle's a great place to go because you seem to always get a good game of football there. Kilmarnock used to be a great trip away, but they've got the plastic pitch now. Tannadice is a great place to go. Again, I don't think I've ever been there and seen a bad game. But Livingston is going to be up there as one of the worst pitches. And I honestly, I genuinely can't remember seeing Celtic playing a good game there. I know there was certain facets and parts of the day that was kind of zippy, it was nippy, and we were flowing. But it's a fucking horrible pitch, horrible stadium, a horrible place. Sorry if anybody's felt Livingston. And it's a horrible team, you know what I mean? You would hate to be a Livingston supporter and sit there and watch that turgid gumph every single week because that's all they do, they just defend. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and slag them for being in the position that they are and doing this, doing that. They're playing to their strengths, which is their shite, so they're going to smell it shite and try and repel everybody away from them. But it's no nice to watch. Apart from Andy Walker, who was nearly orgasming every single time that guy Michael Bublé up front, or whatever his name was getting the ball. I'm telling you, I know I've made my feelings clear about Andy Walker, how much I despise him. But the day was really, he was annoying me. It was like a wee pesky fly. And honestly, mate, every single time that guy Nubley go at the ball, go anywhere near the ball, was getting fouled, I was doing this, doing that. You could hear the joy in his face, like every time he got to say his name. He's just a tosser.
Aye. And another tosser in the Sky production, of course, was Chris Boyd. I never kind of stayed on after full time to see his reaction. Some people were talking about, in fact, let me kind of get back to the actual game itself. One question I've got for you is did it look as if we got a wee bit casual after the second goal? I know that we made a raft of substitutions, but before we made those substitutions, on the hour mark, Forrest collected a loose pass from their goalkeeper. It was like a missed kick. And he had the option of either shooting or squaring it to Hatate. And he tried to square it to Hatate, whereas maybe somebody else in that position, like a Kyogo or a Giakoumakis, would have went, even Abada, I think, would have went straight for goal. He tried to square it, and the defender managed to kind of nullify it. The keeper picked it up. I just felt that was a wee bit kind of lacking that killer instinct. And with a 2-0, although it sounds like a nice wee cushion, with a 2-0, all you need is one mistake, and then it goes to 2-1, and that's where, people get panicky. We panic, watching it at home. And it just kind of, that feeling transcends. It goes through the players and the supporters. It's just unavoidable. So although we were happy with the 2-goal cushion, I still think that's precarious. And whenever you get presented with these chances, you need to be ruthless. But right after that, we make a bunch of changes. O'Reilly and Forrest, they come off. Turnbull and Abada come on. And then a few minutes later, it was Haksabanovic, Hatate, Kyogo, they come off. Jota, Giakoumakis, and Abligor, they come on. James, do you think, is it just me about us being a wee bit casual at times, or do you think we need to be more ruthless?
I mean, we definitely miss chances. Obviously, we've seen that over the course of this season. But as I say, I don't ever think, I never felt at any point today we were in any danger at all. Even the first kind of, like 20, 30 minutes, I thought that Nubley, to be honest, was kind of giving Cameron Carter-Vickers a hard time. But after Carter-Vickers get booked, I don't think that Nubley really get mentioned again. But see, apart from that, honestly, I think we could play to midnight in Livingston, wouldn't they, score?
That's a good point. They actually did look a bit toothless. Paddy, see, I'm talking about toothless with Livingston. Do you think our two centre backs were getting a wee bit better with handling that type of physical striker up front, or do you think today was just a lucky day?
Well, I mean, I don't think I don't recall that they've actually played against this guy before. Maybe he's just totally overlooked me either as well. But I think for the start, like it was the first few minutes in, and Jens was tried a cross-field pass across the defence, and fucking the player got to it, and he messed up the pass, and then the first couple of goes with Vickers, the first couple of times he went kind of shoulder to shoulder with that big noobly, the big guy kind of got the better of him. I know Vickers got booked later on, which was stupid and silly, but I think they basically just had to kind of sound him out first. They had to realise the way that he was playing against them, that bit extra that they had to do. And then it looked to be as if, obviously, Vickers was taking charge of actually getting in to try and smash the guy. But if you look at Jens as well, mate, Jens was covering him. But Livingston literally only had that guy up front himself, and they had 8 or 9 men in defence. And they were trying to kick the ball up to this guy to chase it, to put the pressure on Vickers and Jens. But the guys did well. They came together. One was covering for each other, So they sounded them out pretty quickly. So get it right up you, Andy Walker.
And James, the penalty. So VAR actually does us a favour. And we get a penalty. So Jota, he crosses it, but you've got the boy, what's the guy's name? Shinnie, and he handballed it. Willie Collum never gave it, but VAR called him over. He had to look at it, and then he gave the penalty. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's just nice to see that VAR's gained handball for penalties for handballs this week. But as I was saying before we come on here, that to me, I suppose by the letter of the law these days, it is a penalty. But see the one at Tynecastle last week, that's 100 times more a penalty than that one today. That one today, the guy's arms up high, but he's 2 yards away or something, and he's scored it. It's like in his stride, like he's running. The one last week, I just don't like VR as a whole. But I don't understand how you can give that one the day and no give that one last week. They're either both penalties or none of them are penalties. So I'd like the VR officials, I've said for ages, I think it's kind of, everybody said for a while, the ref should come out after the game and explain their decisions, but I think they just make it up as they go with this VAR.
Aye, that would be a football utopia if actual referees explained their decisions. That might be too much to hope for, but I agree with you. Inconsistency between this penalty and the one at Tynecastle. But Paddy, we actually do get the penalty. Our first domestic penalty since April, I believe. And as fate would have it, of course, we were going to miss it. What did you make of that? Giakoumakis, he took it, he hit it off the outside of the post and it went out. He looked raging. It wasn't really his afternoon, even though he didn't have that much time on the park. There was another point where he got the ball where he took a bad touch. It took him wide. Wasn't really his afternoon, but the actual penalty, Giakoumakis, what's your thoughts?
I'm the same as James. I mean, even last week, I think, I know I've kind of discussed this on here and off it as well. I think even the one against Smith last week was a bit harsh, just because of how close in proximity he was between Forrest last week and Jota today. But I think again today, mate, I think it was pretty harsh. But that just goes to show like a lot of inconsistencies and kind of incompetencies that you get with the referees. And Willie Collum has been at it for years. I don't think he's the worst ref in terms of being a wee rotten cheat, but he's certainly hopeless. So there was a lot of things today that kind of, I was thinking you're getting something for that and no for that. A couple of times Kyogo, mate, I think there could have been a couple of penalties on Kyogo. Guy was kind of had both his arms on Kyogo at one point when he ran out of the box, and then he's booked Vickers later on for the exact same thing. And then there was one, and I think it might have been Sean Kelly, I think, who came running from behind one of the Celtic players, and he kicked him in the back of the leg from behind. That was as cynical as anything, but it was literally just a free kick. So, again, comes down to inconsistencies. That's referees, but this is what they've got to be put up for. This is what you've got to comment on, analyse the whole lot. But I know he went to the VAR screen to kind of confirm it for himself. And I think, again, that just shows the inconsistencies of the human, because I don't think it was a penalty. But he gave it. Jackie Marcus made an arse of it. That is what it is. Probably justice done, if you want to call it that. But it didn't matter. We were still ahead.
Quite an insightful comment there from Palman. So Palman said that the refs actually do interviews in the Netherlands. However, it's really not that great. I'd imagine that they're not going to, spill the beans and say that I fucked up there. So that they've got that there. However, you don't really get much reward from it, I guess.
Not even just, sorry to interrupt you there, but not even just to come out and, let's say, I've made a mistake there, but let's see the one last week, see the VAR team, let's see if the VAR could just explain why they haven't even told them to go and have a look at it, but then the day they have told them to go and have a look at it, it doesn't add up. And as I say, like the one at Tynecastle last week, for me, that's a Stonewall penalty, because I think he's put his arm out more towards it than the day. It's obviously close, and it's as if the guy's in his stride. So it's just totally inconsistent, and I just wish they would come out. Like, obviously, they have all their meetings, and they've explained the VR and how they're going to work it, but they should come out after it and just say, well, I've told them to go and have a look at that for reasons X, Y, and Z, and I've never told them to go and have a look at that for reasons X, Y, and Z, because there was points in that game the day, and it was just like wee silly fouls in the halfway line, and you could see just watching it in real time on Sky, it was absolutely nothing foul, free kick, play on, that was it. But they stopped the game so they could check it for VAR. And you're like, what are you looking for there? It's just utterly pointless. I just don't like it. I don't know if you can tell, but I just don't like it.
But see what you're saying there. Now, in the game last week, and there's Dale just coming on, so I'm just going to bring him in, guys, all right? Derek, son, I've just sent you an email there to you, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. I got it, mate. I got it. How are you guys? How are you getting on? All right? Aye, good, Gav. Good, Gav. Nice to meet you, James.
All right, mate. You too.
Yeah. I'll bring you in 2 seconds, mate. Right, you just rudely interrupted us in the middle of that point now. Right, 2 seconds, mate. Aye, James, that's what I was saying, mate. Like, Andy Walker said the exact opposite of that last week when we played against Hearts. And he said that the whole purpose and the whole way that all these guys and referees and whatever wanted to go about VAR the now was only using it at the bare minimum, so that they could ensure that the decisions were maximised, basically. So they weren't going to use it for wee daft things, and they weren't going to use it for like corners and this and that. It was going to be for big incidents. And now the day, but it's almost as if they're using it twice as much.
I know, obviously, we're going off on a tangent here, but see this clear and obvious thing. There was one last week, and it's going to sound ridiculous. It sounds so daft, I know that. But there was one last week, I can't mind who it was, but somebody hit a shot, and the Hearts defender clearly heeders it, totally changes the way the ball's gone. It's a corner all day long. You can see in real time it's a corner, and he gives a goal kick. Why can the VR official, I'm assuming they're sitting watching the game, no, just press the button and go, you've got that one rang, that's a corner. And he doesn't need to go and look at it, he doesn't need to end, just, there you go, there a corner. See the monitor at the side? I would do away with it. There is no point in it. Have you ever seen a referee go to the monitor and stand by his own decision? I just think it's totally pointless. If you're going to have VR, do away with the monitor, because the guy in his ears tell him it's a penalty, he's going to go with it anyway. It's as if they're just going to basically, so there's two of them agreeing with it, even if one of them doesn't, because obviously they don't. He never gave the initial decision. It's just, I don't like it.
It's a good point that you make. I watch a lot of football in England, and I think whenever they get called over to the monitor, I think I've not done the math, but I would say it's less than 5% of the times that the referee actually sticks by his decision and doesn't let the monitor kind of rule his decision. Dale, talking about VAR, and by the way, welcome, hope you're doing well. And congratulations on the 100th episode for the Celtic Supports podcast.
Cheers, mate.
I watched it Friday night. It was a good laugh.
Aye, it always is, mate. Especially when Paddy's been in the boozer for 3 bells. So there's normally one is making a bit of an arse of yourself. Not normally me, to be fair, but when Paddy sent me a picture of Coors Light at 3:16 p.m, I thought, aye, it's going to be fucking eventful the night. The VAR thing, we spoke about it last week, mate. Listen, it's going to be the biggest part of your podcast in the next 6 or 7 months, isn't it? I think the Hearts one last week with the handball, and then exactly the same one at the ship pit yesterday, with the same two people involved. One was Gavin, one wasn't. So I agree with you, Gav. I don't know how it works. James, I agree with to a certain extent as well. The pitch side monitors, they're not using them. So why are they there? They're clearly not using them. I know I've heard you and Paddy talking about it, Gav, and for me, I think it's a great idea what Paddy's brought up in regards to the tennis thing. Give the coaches a 3 decisions per half to say to the fourth official, come and look at this. Because, as James says, the pitch side monitors are there and they're doing absolutely nothing. They're doing nothing. They're a waste of time, man. I don't think it affected the game too much today, to be fair.
See that one, whenever you've got like three decisions that you can call in a half, for example. So say, for example, like say Kyogo is adamant that he should have had a penalty, just in general, not talking about today's game, but Ange never saw it. So what does Ange do? Does he call time out? So Paddy, going back to you, does Ange call time out and he speaks to Kyogo and says, so how certain were you that it was a penalty? And if Kyogo convinces him, then he'll say, right, okay, we'll challenge it. And then it's no a penalty.
I think that's got to be a manager's decision. I don't think you can shout on the park. I think if there's something in place in the dugout and somebody like John Kennedy or something gives him a wee nudge and says, give him a shout, but then that opens up a totally different thing. As you say, Gav, stopping the game when there's play and there's another team attacking. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's totally ruining football. I think it's totally ruining the fans' experience of football as well. The human error thing's always going to be there, whether it's a referee or VAR. But the VAR thing's just you see the fans celebrating and then the decision goes against us. It's not for me. It's not for me.
I'd had a wee chat with you, didn't I, Dale? And it was just it was one of the kind of opinions that I had. And I did say like the whole tennis thing, and I think that to an extent, like each team should have X amount of calls that they're able to make to the referee. And I'm sure I changed my mind and made it to the captain, because obviously the captain's the guy that can run up to the park and speak to the referee when there's been a foul or somebody's getting booked. The captain is technically the only guy that's allowed to go and speak to the referee. So therefore, the captain should be able to say, right, listen, I'm making a call here. Even if it's 3 per match, right? 3 calls per match, each captain gets that. You're not going to give them unlimited calls because they would just be going like every 2 seconds. Right? I want that checked. No, you keep it for when you require it. If the referee's not seen it, then chances are that somebody on the pitch has seen it, and the captains are there in a position of trust, really, aren't they, by their teams. So they should be the guy that's allowed to go and say, listen, I want you to have a go and have a look at it, because we're all working here together. And that's the way it should be. If you're bringing in video assisted referee, then if a player can go up to a referee and say, by the way, he's fouled me, and then the referee will maybe go and have a chat with his linesman saying, did he foul him? You're doing the exact same thing. It's not exactly getting some kind of a bonus at it. You're not getting one up on the other team. You're actually playing football to its truest sense, because you're wanting every single decision proper and correct. And again, I've been on about this fucking VAR a million times, and I get the fact that it does take away a certain element of football, like the flow of the game. You do end up with extra minutes, you do this and do that, but in its entirety, that video assisted VAR is essentially only doing it what everybody's doing now. Is sitting watching a telly or jumping onto their phone looking at highlight and get X, Y, and Z camera angles. That's what's there for. It allows the referee to therefore be totally 100% in his decision. If he sees something in real time and misses it, how can he's not supposed to make a decision on it? We have seen that happen before in Scotland. Willie Collum was the very man. He had his back to the goal, if you remember, Dan Mastorovich at Ibrox. He had his back to the action, comes around the guys in the deck, and he blows for a penalty. So you're not allowed to do that as a referee. You're not allowed to use opinion. You've got to be totally to the subject, to the letter of the rules. That's what happens with VAR. It gives you even more of that. And if referees are still inconsistent when they're using a monitor, or if they're getting fucking Laurel and Hardy in the VAR centre, phoning through to the watch, right, that's a penalty, whatever, and they're not doing it right, then you can still go, well, do you know what? We've got these linesmen, we get these extra linesmen on the park, he's still made an asset. We've got your video assisted referee, he's still making an asset. So where's the common denominator here? It's yous it's making the asset because yous are still the humans and control the folks.
I think where it differentiates, Gav, with tennis is if somebody serves and it's outside the service line and somebody puts their horn up, it's an instant decision. But if something happens on the football park and then there's 3 or 4 minutes of play before the ball even goes out of play, then it's a massive call to bring that big part of the game back to then make that decision. I think that's probably why what Paddy's saying in regards to making decisions and getting three kind of tokens fucking per half makes probably no sense, to be honest with you, because the ball could not get the park for 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'm just saying, oh, but something happened then. That again will be detrimental to the game, will it not?
I agree. We could talk about this till the cows come home. James, I know you had a point there before we move on. What were you going to say?
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Cool. We had a lovely wee compliment there from Rosemary Kilduff. Jungle Jim's is well, she likes us anyway. So thank you very much, Rosemary. Very, very kind of you. And guys, without you viewers, you know, it wouldn't be that much fun. So thanks very much. We consider you as much a part of the podcast as what we are. So thank you very much, and we always appreciate your comments. And
seeing as he's here as well, Gav, we might as well give your Derek a plug.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. It's Sunday, so I'll call you with your Sunday name, mate.
Oh, thank you very much, Derek. Lovely. So obviously, what Gav says, only reiterate it. Here for yous are here for us, blah, blah, blah. There's Dale as well. Celtic Supporters Podcast on YouTube. Doing very, very well at the moment, mate. You're flying with your views and your subs. So, very well done, mate. So, as Parliament says there, for both of the channels, Jungle Jim's Celtic Supporters Podcast, free to subscribe. Press the wee thumbs up, the wee bell. All you need to do.
100%.
Thanks, mate.
And finishing off with the last action of the game on the 87th minute, it was a quick throw out from Hart to Abada, who was almost in a kind of right back position, and he saw Turnbull motoring up. When have you ever seen Turnbull motoring up the pitch? On this occasion, Patrick, you're from the posh scheme as Paddy does.
Yeah, remember this one.
Ash,
yeah, I'm over. I'm on a tea.
Ash.
I'm on cups of tea.
Ash, yes.
So a long ball up to Turnbull on the right flank, and he crossed for Jota, who'd come on as a sub, and Jota had such an easy finish of putting it in the net. James, I was saying to Paddy earlier on before the game, before full time, it was a confidence booster for Jota, but out of all the players at Celtic, he's probably the last one who needs a confidence booster. I think he's just chock full of it anyway. But regardless, good to see that he's getting back on the score sheet again. And Jinky just goes back into the starting 11, or do you think he still needs a few more games to get up to speed?
He's in the team. I don't know if I'd play him, but I don't even know what a day for the Bernabeu. Nothing to play for, nor that. Do you just kind of play? No, the reserves. I know you've got the pool to pick for, but do you go full strength and I don't know, risk the injuries? I generally don't know what I would do, but no, I domestically, definitely, obviously in the games that kind of count now, I'd have him straight back in. I'd like to see him and Haksabanovic.
Yep.
Well, I guess, Dale, for the Madrid game, like, what are we playing for? We're playing for pride. We've always wanted to go to the Bernabeu. It's just an unfortunate situation that we're going to the Bernabeu with nothing to play for in terms of getting through in Europe. So what's your expectations as a Celtic fan?
It's a very nostalgic game, mate. Speaking to guys that are in their 20s and speaking to guys that are in their 70s, that I've never experienced going to the Bernabeu with Celtic in a competitive European game, mate. Like some of my gaffers that are work that are pensioners are so looking forward to the game. A lot of the young team that are gone are so looking forward to it. The Bernabeu is one of the most iconic stadiums in world football. I have absolutely no doubt Ange Postecoglou goes there. Puts out a very strong team. The pride time's massive, Gav. Anytime you're wearing this clover in your chest, then doesn't matter where you're playing your football, then pride for the Taps, a massive thing. So, listen, it's going to be a tougher game than we probably expected for the start of the Champions League group, because I think most fans think Real Madrid would have been qualified by now, and we'd have maybe been going there trying to sneak into the kind of Europa League. But I don't doubt Ange Postecoglou goes there. A very, very strong side. And listen, I think it's just the guy's nature. He goes whatever it is to try and win a game of football. So I agree with James. I think Jota will probably start. The up top one with Kyogo and Giakoumakis, we don't know, but let's go and give it a go, mate, because we've not embarrassed ourselves this year. We've gave a fucking great account of ourselves in European football. So go to the Bernabeu, give the fans what they want to see, attack them and fucking get a bash, mate. It's the last game. Get a fucking bash, man.
Good answer. Paddy, coming on to you, no sooner had I asked Dale that question, then I kind of harkened back to 1967, where we played at the Bernabeu in a non-competitive game, but it's a game that everybody fondly remembers who can watch it on YouTube. We are 1-0, and it was Jimmy Johnson who ran the show that night, and all the Spaniards were talking about him. So I guess that's an example of you're playing for pride, you've got the prestige, and you can make a name for yourself. So take it away.
Just before I do that, mate, again, to everybody in the comment section, thanks very much for your kind words on that. There's Ross Mullen. Jungle Jim's the best podcast on YouTube. Brilliant. John Coyle, good show as always.
Joe Rogan is pretty good as well, just to let you know.
Spotify now anyway.
We've the selling supportive podcast, the Jungle Jim's and Joe Rogan.
Right. How do I put this baldy cunt off? But no, I was just about to say, listen, we're one subscription after 1,000, so
yes,
somebody help us. Somebody put us on the line, because McGinty will cream his pants when we do. But anyway, again, thanks everybody. But no, to answer your question, Gav, I mean, there's two ways that you can do it. You can kind of treat it as a game where there's nothing to play for, which there isn't. There's nothing to play for in terms of points. Real Madrid probably have something to play for, because they'll want to ensure that they finish in first place. I think there's still a chance that Leipzig can do it. So they'll want to beat us, and they want to ensure that they beat us. But again, they might not want to risk too many players for getting to the next stage as well. But I think for me, mate, this kind of looking at everything in hindsight this season of the Champions League, this is all about learning. It's all about developing these players and making them better players and what they are for getting into the next campaign. And I know it'd have been great to obviously get something for the Champions League this season, at the very least third, hopefully second. You know, even a victory against Real Madrid at Celtic Park, something to just lift all the spirits. But I think, again, like last season we were in the Europa League and then the Conference League. I think we've taken a lot away from that and put it into this season. And I think we'll do the same again for this season, get into next season. Because I'm very, very confident that we'll win the league. I don't know if it'll be a canter or anything, but I'm sure that the guys will do enough to deliver another crack at the Champions League automatic qualification. We will then have a group of players. If we keep the kind of same nucleus of the squad, we'll have a guys that's been there, done it, and is experienced. And as I said before, 4 guys in the squad: Hart, Callum McGregor, Jimmy Forrest, and Giakoumakis. 4 guys that have played in the Champions League. You know what I mean? Not even the manager's done it. So I would. Sorry, I'm waffling away there. I would play a strong enough squad, mate. I'd play Jota. I'd let guys like that kind of get their chance and try and put in a performance and give them something to kind of cheer about and go home happy about. Aye.
Aye, as I say, I'm kind of torn it because see if you go there, I know, and I think Andrew think the same as well. Obviously, as you say, everybody's going to paying up their money and stuff like that. Been looking forward to it, so I think he will go full strength. But see, at the same time, see if you go there and you're picking up 4 injuries and all that, you'll come home fuming. But I think he will go for it. I fear it could be a behind the couch job, but hopefully we can sneak a wee draw.
Guys, that is a milestone, an absolute milestone. 1,000. That's
fucking amazing, amazing. No, but by the way, he's fucking deserve it. He's worked hard at it. He's on a consistent basis on a Tuesday and the post-match stuff and all that, and your content's always good, man. It really is, man. So he's fucking deserve every bit of it, man. And I hope that 1K pushes his on a wee bit further and make a couple of shekels and do what you need to do. But aye, listen, I've been a fan for day one, so fucking very, very well done to you guys, man. And I'm proud of you, man. You've done well. Well done, true.
Well, I'm glad that you were on an all, mate, when we heard that, because you were a part of helping us getting to it as well. So thank you very much, mate.
Aye, no bother, man. And I hope it goes from strength to strength, because we've spoken about it before. There's loads of different ones out there that people can watch, and whatever your gig is, your gig is. If you do like the PC stuff that you don't hear the blue language for me or Patrick, and on occasion, or more than occasion, I would like to say. Listen, it's an alternative, and there's loads of different ones out there, but aye, well done, Trips, man. That's a fucking great milestone. Well done.
Use guys next on the CSP, mate. Coming.
Aye, hopefully, mate. As long as I don't get banned before that, which is a very good chance.
Aye. Well, we can promise of yours that it'll just be business as usual for the Jungle Gyms.
Apart from Gav, I'm sorry, it'll be a tenner per prescription as of next week. So everybody. I'm joking.
That's it, mate. Aye, I tell you, mate. That's it. 10 grand a month, mate. That'll do.
What is that all?
Here, by the way, on a totally different topic, I watched the Copa Libertadores final last night between Flamengo and Chapo something.
Chapo Caese.
Aye, that's it.
Is that the one that the
plane crash?
The plane crash. Yep.
Yeah. The quality, like they got a man sent off early in the first half, and kind of Flamengo won 1-0. But see the quality, I think our team could have beat Flamengo. Just going to say that. It's just kind of unfortunate they reside on a different continent from us. Just going to say that.
So Celtic would absolutely smash Brazil, is what Gav's saying.
Yeah.
Here's one for you there, Dale. Since you're on Red Scotland, just start another one up, Dale. If you do get banned, because I'll tell you, mate, you're among the most genuine people out there.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. That's nice. Nice to hear. Nice to hear, mate.
And there's Frank Kennedy with the best fucking humour out as per usual. Not getting on, mate. 1,000 subs. That must be a big bench. Oh,
and I'll need to steal your new edition, Patrick, one night for a wee Friday night there, James.
Yes.
I don't know if you'll be able to handle the Friday night show, Paddy, but he's certainly more than welcome.
By the way,
Gavin,
Dale, he's not 13, mate, right? He's an adult.
Oh, okay. School night tonight, I know, man.
We'll definitely need to get our Gav on a Friday night.
Aye, I'll get pitched before
a wee crossover show, mate. It would be brilliant, mate. A lot of the folk on our comments and that have been talking about it, like getting across there with the CSP and the Jungle Gyms, a wee Friday night bevy and a shite talk, as it's called, mate. It'd be good, mate. We'd 6 on Friday night and it was actually all right, Paddy, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Aye, well, aye. That's what Coors Light at 3 o'clock in the afternoon does, but aye.
Aye, the rest. Look.
Aye, I remember calling you the So Solid crew on the Friday night. You had that many people on.
I've seen that, mate. I've seen that. That was a good one. In fact, it's a Monday night show that I'm forgetting it's a CSP Monday Night Live tomorrow, so I'll need to maybe text by Coggy and get some costumes looked at for tomorrow night.
I thought you were already in fucking costume.
That's the obvious shite answer, know what I mean? But
I know. Mate, anyway. I was going to get a Tefal wig and paint my beard grey and kid on. I was at Dale, but I thought, my screen would crack or something.
I thought it was an
the Mankini. I think I might get the 2008 Mankini pulled out the loft for tomorrow night.
Is that anything like the Scott Brown Mankini from back in the day? Do you remember that one?
I don't know, mate, but there's definitely nothing falling out the side of mine, I'll tell you
that. Well, so midweek Real Madrid, and we obviously won't be going to that one. We're not one of the lucky ones travelling over to Madrid for that game. So hopefully we can do a post-match review if people don't have, if they're not getting early bedtime. And
James, is that James you're talking about?
That's me, aye.
Is the Madrid game on the Tuesday?
I've looked at it before.
Is it Wednesday next week?
Is it Wednesday? Right, okay. Aye, so
is it Wednesday? I might be talking shite by the way.
Aye, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, aye.
So in that case, it'll be Tuesday for the TikTok, and hopefully, if we can, a post-match review of Madrid. I shudder to think what we'll be talking about in that game. But you never know. When the chips are down, that's when people can surprise you.
I know. I think it's a massive game to look forward to as a Celtic fan, and because of the results in the league, it's a terrifying thought as well. I'm really looking forward to it, Gav, to be honest with you, but you were hoping to get it in different circumstances. So going up against the European champions, as Paddy said, having to win to top the group is quite fucking daunting, to be honest with you. I would imagine the big hitters will be out. Modric's, Benzema, Vinicius Junior, guys like that.
I think Benzema's struggling for the game anyway, so you'd imagine it's going to be like
see another porno or something?
I don't know, maybe somebody's probably blackmailing. They'll probably have like Mariano starting or some other guy that will score about fucking 1,000 goals against us. But listen, even their B team is going to be frightening, you know what I mean? But listen, that's what it is. We're out, so let's go out with at least some sort of bang. You know what I mean? At least try and just play like Celtic. You know what I mean? If we're going to play like that kind of swashbuckling in your face kind of football in the first game, I don't think we're going to do it in the last game. Do it every game. Go for it.
Get a go, mate.
Play Aaron Boy. And James
Big guys. Is there anything further we want to talk about? I noticed in the comments there that people are noticing the absence of Frank Brennan. We hope he's okay. James, you'll learn that Frank Brennan is one of our more positive viewers. He always gives us a lift. It's Paddy's best online mate. He's his pen pal almost. But he's not here today. We hope Brennan's all right.
I think Paddy just comes on to my podcast as well, Gav, just to fucking argue with him.
To be fair, he's a good also. An arsehole, sorry, I mean. Sorry, Frank. No, you're all right, mate. You're all right. You just need a wee bit of sunshine in your life. That's it.
Right, guys. Anything further before we kind of finish things off for this evening or this afternoon?
Just obviously, just a big thanks to everybody. Obviously, it comes on in comments and see it every week and follows all the guys about. Listen, it's nothing without you, you know what I mean? So, brilliant. Thank you all. And what a day to be a Tim. I know it's pushing around outside, but the sun's shining in my heart.
It's nice and dry up and wishy, mate.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. To the viewers, thank you so much. It's so much appreciated. We've got to 1,000 subscriptions. I hope nobody unsubscribes tonight just for a fucking laugh.
I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. 999. Get it up, please.
You phone the police, aye? You get ripped.
My grass, mate. Aye.
Right, Lee Wallace, that's enough.
Right, snitches get stitches. Right, anyway, from myself, Paddy, Dale, and James, thank you very, very much. Hope you all enjoyed the game as much as we did. And we'll be back for Tuesday TikTok for the Jungle Gyms. But on your Monday night, watch the Celtic Supporters Podcast. That's where your entertainment will be.
Thank
Dale
you.
Dale and
God
Hoggy
bless.
Boy Monday, and the rest of the trips to Tuesday. Catches.
God bless, guys. Hail, hail.